The hype continues to build for Epic Universe, which is leaving a lot more questions and answers at this point in terms of a lot of things. When is the park going to open? And one of those things as well is how will people be able to access the park? Will there be AP previews? What will the pricing be? And lots of things. But there are a lot of rumors out there about some ticket packages that I was going to do a video on and just talk about the rumors itself, but there are some articles out there. So I found one here on the Disney Tourist blog. I figured let's go through this and talk about it, and I'll give some thoughts on it. So, hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic, and the article we have here is entitled, Is Universal Making a Classic Crowdpocalypse Mistake with Epic Universe? I don't know what a crowdpocalypse thing is and a classic of it, but hey, let's go through this. So the big thing about this, and they list it right off the bat, is Universal Orlando will reportedly only sell admission to Epic Universe as part of multi-day ticket packages at first, and likely no park hopping. Now, again, these are just rumors. Nothing has been confirmed, but these are things that a lot of people are talking about, and so this is the gist of this article. At first, I was skeptical that Universal would be releasing ticket info for Epic Universe so early. I wasn't alone in this sentiment, as many others on social media questioned the legitimacy of the info, which was then corroborated by at least a dozen different travel agents. Highly credible Universal insider Alicia Stella also suggested the info was accurate, while also adding key clarifying details. At this point, the Epic Universe ticket details are either legit or the most elaborate ruse ever. Anyway, when ticket sales first launch, guests must purchase a multi-day Universal Orlando ticket package with a 3-day minimum in order to visit Epic Universe. No matter the ticket duration, all ticket types will offer a single day at Epic Universe and will not include park hopping to or from the new park. At product launch, there will be no option to purchase a single day Epic Universe ticket by itself. I'm torn on if, again, this is rumored, and I always do want to specify sometimes Disney does this a lot. Universal could be doing this, is you release information out there to sort of see what the general public's response to this is, or what it could be. So this very much could be part of that. This also could be a very fluid situation where this could change. As I've seen two different reactions. I've seen some people say this is the worst idea ever, and I've seen some people say, I understand, they're trying to balance this out. I'm somewhere caught in the middle, because until it actually comes out, I'm not going to get like emotionally swayed one or the other. Like, obviously I want to be at Epic Universe like day one. Our family, we are Universal annual pass holders, and I want to be able to go to the park on opening day. So if this is how they open it, on some hand I'll understand, but the other rumor out there is that there are going to be months of AP previews as well, which is something that I have actually, I'm not going to say predicted, but I've assumed that they will do, because they're going to want to work all the kinks out that they can, because the last thing you want to do is open this highly anticipated theme park to a bunch of issues on opening day. And that very well could happen whether or not you have AP previews or not, but at least you have people going through the attractions, walking through things. Like, there's a lot of issues that can come up in something brand new that you just don't anticipate until people come through the land and experience things. And the audience that you would want to do that would be your annual pass holders, because they're going to be the most understanding. They're going to be excited, and you can work out those kinks before you present it to the general public. So I think on some level, if they go about doing this, but they give the annual pass holders, months or ample time to check out the land, get the first look at it, I think it would go over better. But that is something I do want to keep in mind before we go through all this, is that is the other rumor out there, that annual pass holders would have a lot of access to this early on. We don't know what that looks like, and be able to do it multiple times or anything like that. But I just want to say that, and then we'll get some more thoughts at the end of this. So guests will be able to otherwise customize tickets, including which of Universal Orlando's other parks they'll visit. Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, and or Volcano Bay Water Park. You'll be able to park hop among those parks, but not to Epic Universe, and so forth. Basically, tickets will be exactly like they are today, but with a bonus day at Epic Universe. International visitors will have the option to purchase a new ticket type at product launch, which will grant access to 14 days at Universal Orlando's existing gates and 1 day at Epic Universe. Which that one, I mean, yeah, if you had 14 days but only one at Epic Universe, that's an interesting thing if that's the case. According to one of the screenshots shared via Attractions Magazine, Universal intends to manage capacity by selling only date-specific admission products. Additionally, Universal Epic Universe products will launch with multi-day tickets for 3 or more days, with a 1-day limit to Universal Epic Universe for those planning vacations well in advance. It says Universal intends to expand product offerings to single and multi-day tickets, including Universal Epic Universe, in a phased approach based on availability. It says, we've bolded the last line because it's the pertinent part. A lot of the discourse about the report from Attractions Magazine seems to be misconstruing the product launch of tickets for Epic Universe with the opening. Those two dates are most definitely not the same. While there's no indication as to when Epic Universe tickets will go on sale, it's presumably pretty soon if this is being distributed to third parties. Meanwhile, the official opening of the park itself is still almost a year away. I don't think that's true. I've talked about this in some other videos. Steve Tatham, who is the creative head of Epic Universe, went on his friend's podcast. Again, I'll put a link up here to the video, but he basically went on his friend's podcast and said that Epic Universe will be opening in early 2025 before the summer. And I think that probably lends to the park opening closer to the spring and maybe AP previews and things like that being closer to the first of the year. So I don't think we're looking at a year away in terms of when this park opens. Regardless of that point, Universal Orlando is going to start by selling multi-day tickets and then scale up from there, meaning that single and multi-day tickets for Epic Universe will be sold at some point prior to opening. It says, I guess unless the initial offering sells so well that they don't need to offer anything else. I think that's the key point there. So the whole reason I think Universal would probably be looking at doing this is the last thing that they want to do is do any sort of park reservation system. And there's intense hype for Epic Universe. I think that is undeniable at this point, whether or not you want to go to Epic Universe or not. A lot of people are excited about it. I know I am. Everybody I talk to that aren't even Universal people are very excited for Epic Universe. So I think if they take this approach, it's them trying to maybe also figure out exactly how much that demand is. Because at this point, it's unknown. We know it is a lot. It's all online. You can see it everywhere, but nothing has been sold yet. Nothing has been offered. So it's, I guess you would just call it like it's almost like potential energy, like potential sales. There's a lot of it out there. So by doing this, let's say they sell crazy amounts of these multi-day ticket packages, well, then they wouldn't have to then offer these other packages because those would be sold out. And what they also don't want is people just coming to Epic Universe alone and not going to the other parks. They're going to want to balance that out because the other thing is Universal is wanting to compete with Disney in terms of making people choose a week at Universal versus a week at Disney, because Universal, for the most part, has been an add-on to Disney World for a very long time. You go to Disney World for 3 or 4 days, go to Universal for 1 or 2 days. And it's understandable as to why. Epic Universe changes that, but at the same time, they don't want people just looking at Epic Universe and saying, okay, let's still go to Disney and then we'll just go a day at Epic Universe. They want people to spend an entire week at Universal. So this also could be looked at if this rumor is true and they do this, them, I guess you could just say it like using their leverage in this situation to use the excitement of Epic Universe to also get them to visit their existing parks, which there's a lot of things in the parks that people currently enjoy. The Wizarding World in both parks, Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, are very, very popular and have been for years. I mean, the Wizarding World just celebrated its 10th anniversary and is still a very popular destination for people who love Harry Potter. So there's a lot of things in both of the parks. And, you know, the water park itself, Volcano Bay, is, I'm not a water park person, but it is the best water park in Orlando, clearly, easily to me. So there's still a lot of things about the existing parks that can pull people in. I mean, you've got Hagrid's, you have Velocicoaster, which those two roller coasters are some of the best in Orlando for sure, and other attractions as well. So I think they would be potentially using Epic Universe as a way to also get people to check out their other things that they're going to have as well. It says here, turning to commentary, it's unsurprising that Universal Orlando is going to both limit attendance and attempt to use Epic Universe as a means of getting guests to spend more time in their existing gates. There are multiple goals to this approach. In theory, it should increase Universal Orlando's average length of stay and make guests more likely to book on-site hotels, prevent attendance cannibalization from Universal's existing gates, and getting people to spend their park days at Universal Orlando rather than Walt Disney World. It also controls crowds at Epic Universe and pushes people to the existing gates. It means attendance could be higher at Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure than Epic Universe, as there will be more park ticket days in circulation for the existing gates than there are for Epic Universe, especially once you factor in the outstanding annual passes that do not cover Epic Universe. Says that again, this is all very much in theory. It will not work out this way in practice, and Universal Orlando undoubtedly knows as much. That nevertheless, it's savvy strategy, and we give Universal kudos if they can manage to thread the needle and pull this off without unintended negative consequences. While Universal Orlando's existing gates will undoubtedly see a boost from Epic Universe, it's nonsense to think that the international guests are going to spend a combined 14 days at Universal Studios Florida an Islands of Adventure, and only one day at Epic Universe. That much I agree with. I will say that if that is the world plan, um, I agree with that commentary right there. Another possibility is that this will be what convinces fin-setting vacation planners to stay on site at Universal Orlando instead of Walt Disney World and Epic Universe as an add-on. So all this might seem like a stretch, and perhaps it is, but when first seeing the details of Epic Universe ticketing, I got an immediate flashback to the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. The opening summer for that new land was incredibly slow, and that was largely due to the drumbeat of messaging from the company itself and fan community about crowds. We worked ourselves into a collective tizzy over a crowd apocalypse scenario, and the exact opposite happened as a result. Fearing multi-hour lines and crazy congestion, fans stayed home, delaying visits until crowds died down. The first few months were dead, and then the time when people expected things to die down were crazy busy. That is something as well. I think a lot of people are very excited for Epic Universe. Also heard a lot of people, including a lot of you guys in the comments, that have said, I'm waiting 6 months before I go to Epic Universe. It's going to be crazy. That is something that could happen. I look at what Universal's doing is maybe if they go about this system, using it as a way to gauge the interest here. Like if they're saying at first, hey, we're going to sell these in packages only to get access to Epic Universe, and then seeing how that goes. If they sell like crazy, and they probably would include that with staying on Universal property, which I do want to say, I love the Universal hotels. They are, especially the values and moderates, they are my favorite category over Disney for sure. I enjoy Universal's hotels in those categories over Disney's a lot. So they very well could tie those into people staying on property. And those are the people, like, Universal wants people that are going to come there for a week. So at the same time, while we'll have to see what they do with annual pass holders, there's been no mention of that. I have a hard time believing they're going to completely block out annual pass holders, because Universal has done very well by their annual pass holders, historically speaking. So still not sure on that. There's no word that I've heard on annual pass holders at this point anyways. So if they do that and it sells like crazy, obviously people are going to come in, and then they can adjust the, offering the single day or, the other types of tickets for Epic Universe, as they see the crowds in there. If those don't sell, then they can open those up, and then it allows people. So then at the very last, they can have the locals or the other, maybe the single day tickets come in to where it's still a lot of people coming to Epic Universe. So, I mean, what they're saying here, there is some credence that could happen, where people are just being like, it's going to be crazy, I want nothing to do with it scenario. So on a positive note, Universal Orlando also has a long enough runway to address and avoid such issues. Whereas Disney actively played into fears about the crowd apocalypse, there's still time for Universal to ally these concerns. Not only that, but the reputations of the Disney and Universal are already wildly divergent on this front. Universal benefits here from being more laid back, and its diehard fans having a greater tolerance for overcrowding. Not only that, but it's likely that this multi-day ticket release with the single bonus day at Epic Universe is simply step one, an overly aggressive one to capture those aforementioned anxious planners and lock them into longer duration tickets. It's also possible that Universal will want to recoup some of the billions of dollars it has invested in Epic Universe as quickly as possible, and will take advantage of the hype to the greatest extent possible with more pricey packages, tickets, early access, etc. That's very true. And I don't doubt that one bit. Again, all this is speculative, and for the sake of conversation, as many possibilities, Universal hasn't announced anything at this point. So there's obviously plenty of time for perceptions to change, but it should be somewhat telling that there are already so many strong reactions to what is only a rumor. I think that's also why when I hear this, I'm just like, okay, this very much could change. It could be a very fluid situation. Prioritizing, they want to make their money back. Prioritizing, people who are willing to come for a week that are going to spend a lot more money. And let's be real, they will spend a lot more money than annual pass holders or single day ticket buyers. That's just true. So in some way, as much as I may not like it, personally speaking, I can understand it from a business perspective, where they're like, we're going to prioritize the people that are going to come for 3 to 5 to 7 days here, stay on property, spend more money, and then open it up to everybody else. But I don't also think that they're going to completely block out, single day tickets or maybe annual pass holders on opening day, opening week. I would be surprised if they did that. They could, but I would be a little surprised if they did. But again, if they did the annual pass holder previews for, the rumor again is for multiple months leading up to the park opening. If they did do that, I think it would go over much better with the annual pass holders. I do have somewhat faith. I don't really have, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't really have faith in giant companies per se, but I think historically speaking, Universal has done well by their annual pass holders. So I have a feeling they're going to find a balance there. They're going to try and feel this out where the annual pass holders, who are the lifeblood of Universal, who are some of the people hyping up Epic Universe the most, I don't think they're going to leave them high and dry. I don't. If they do, I will react to it and I will criticize it as much as I criticize Disney or other theme parks with some of the things that they do. I think it's out there now because I'm not going to be surprised if Universal announces a lot of these details in that last teaser video that they're going to do for Wizarding World. If they do this in August around D23, whatever Disney announces at D23, Epic Universe can then come out with that last video teasing whatever it is to come for Wizarding World, plus opening date, annual pass holder previews, perhaps ticketing details. I think that would probably, in terms of a theme park war, I think that would be a pretty good time to do that. And I think it would probably take away a lot of thunder from Disney if they did do that. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's going to do it for this video. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of Universal, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture news around here. And let us know in the comments what you think potentially about this rumor. Do you hate it? I'm going to guess most people don't like it. Maybe you understand where they're coming from. Let us know in the comments. And until next time, we will see you in the parks.